Pandemic of COVID-19 accelerated digital revolutions. There was and there is a flood of new experienced users of digital services. Unfortunately, they lack of cybersecurity threats awareness and knowledge of good practices. There are many adversaries and many new attacks in the cyber world. Hello, everybody. My name is Wojciech Wodo, and I will take you for the adventure into the cybersecurity world. Let me to introduce myself. I received my PhD degree from Polish Academy of Sciences in Warsaw in computer security, and I work as an assistant professor at Wrocław University of Science and Technology in Wrocław, as well as I teach as an associate professor at Wrocław University of Life and Environmental Sciences, also in Wrocław. My expertise areas are in computer security, digital identity, electronic identity documents, cybersecurity of digital banking, and biometrics. Let's talk a little bit about the digital identity. We will use this term, digital identity, for describing a personal identity in a digital format. I mean, it's in digital systems. Digital identity may represent a set of attributes of physical person and its data, or even an entire collection of data generated by person activity in the network. Generally speaking, by digital identity, we can perceive a set of data, including personal data, but also usernames, passwords, or online activities in social media or purchasing history that may be used to identify particular person. And this is a very important issue because if anybody could identify you as a particular person, it is dangerous if anybody could steal your identity and could impersonate you. That's the way you should know some very important matters about the digital identity, its privacy, and how to protect it. Let me introduce you to the new national identity cards with electronic layer, so-called EIDs. Because according to the European Union Directive from 2019, number 1157, all member states are obliged to introduce new standardized national identity cards with electronic layer. They will be issued as a smart cards. Electronic layer of this ID card is protected by advanced cryptographic mechanisms, and thanks to that, you could easily verify authenticity and integrity of the document, and it's extremely difficult to counterfeit this document, unlike to the traditional ones or papers or plastics. Also, thank you to that cryptographic mechanism embedded into the electronic layer of the document, is practically impossible to counterfeit the new ID. It is unlike to the old ones. There was a problem with the collector's ID. So there were some pages where you could order a document that a plastic card that looks like an original document, but it's not. It's fake. And unfortunately, adversaries was able to use these documents in order to make purchases on behalf of you or even register SIM cards. So that was pretty dangerous. Electronic layer includes also a biometric data. For now, this is only photo, but in the future, starting from the September 2020, it will be also a fingerprint. It would be the same as in passports. And thanks to that, only authorized personnel, for example, state clerks, could verify not only the document itself, but also a biometric link between the card's holder and actual user who is standing in front of them. I just want to explain you briefly how this smart card works. So it's a plastic card with embedded microprocessor and antenna. Thanks to that, you could communicate by radio frequencies with the microprocessor and send data over this channel. To communicate with the smart card, you could use either a regular NFC reader, you can see it in a picture, or you could use also your smartphone or tablet with embedded NFC chip. As you can see in the picture, All you need is just, to take the card and get closer to the reader, and the magic happens. The radio frequency will evoke the electronic chip on your card, and the reader will start communicating with the card. And now I will describe for you the benefits and functionalities of this new identity cards based on a Polish ID. So this document includes a few certificates, and I will point out for you those certificates and explain how you could benefit from them. First certificate is Certificate of Identity and Authentication. And you can use this certificate to verify yourself against federal digital services and log in into these services. We'll show you right now a live example how you could use the IDO application to log in governmental digital services. Here we go, our main screen of ePUAP digital services. We click login, and now we have to choose between trusted profile and eID. We choose eID. After that, we have to choose between NFC reader. We could either choose external one or internal one built in our smartphone. We choose the smartphone. Next, we have about a minute to read the display QR code. We run our IDO app and click Scan QR code and bring it closer to the QR code. Right now the data is transferred and we could confirm our attempt of authorization. We insert the CAN number and 4-digit secret PIN number. We confirm it, the data is transferred, and right now we have to bring closer our eID to the smartphone. The data is transmitted, verified, and everything is all right. We are set up. The second certificate is the Certificate of Presence. You can generate an evidence of document presence at certain time and place. It is very convenient because in the past, some merchants did a copy or xerocopy of your ID to have such a document, and it was pretty dangerous, and in some cases, it was against the law. The third certificate is personal signature. And in terms of eIDAS directive, it is an advanced electronic signature. You could use it to sign electronic documents as agreements, statements with a power of advanced electronic signature, which guarantees substantial security level and allows you to handle a lot of your businesses remotely. The only restrictions to this signature are related to specific actions. For example, notary deed, which requires qualified electronic signature defined by eIDAS as equally to handwritten signature. And now we'll show you how to use the application of electronic signature software to e-sign document with new Polish ID. Here we have our main screen of IDO app. We choose menu and sign document position. Right now we have to add some file to sign. We've prepared some sample PDF file, so we choose the file, and right now we want to indicate the place in the document where to put the signature. We pick the place in the down right corner and we confirm it. Now we have to insert our CAN number as previously and we confirm it. And here's the time for a 6-digit secret PIN, which is assigned to the personal signature. We confirm it. And now we have to bring close our eID to the smartphone. We did so, and the data is transferred, the certificate is read, the signing procedure has been successfully done, and the document is e-signed. Once you have signed document with electronic signature or received one, you would like to verify the electronic signature. I show you how to easily verify digitally signed documents by different types of electronic signatures and in different formats, XADES or PADES. In the first example, XADES consists of two separated files, the main file, the document, and signature as a separated file. The latter one, the PADES format, got embedded signature in the PDF file. Let's switch to the first live example. We got document signed by electronic qualified signature in a form of XADES signature. So it means we got two separated files, the main document and the signature. We're gonna verify this signature by using the online toolkit verifysignature.eu. All right, so right now, let me show you how to use this website verifysignature.eu that you could easily verify XADES and PADES signatures. And just let me remind you that the trust service provider who is responsible for running this website is registered under the Polish National Bank, and it is in a register of unqualified trust service providers. So your data are saved there, and after the process of uploading and verification, they are immediately wiped out from the servers, according to the policy of this trust service providers. And you could easily operate on the website, and it's very handy. So you just need to add your signed files here in a window. You could pick your document and the signature. You have to remember that if you get XADES file as a separate file of signature, you have to upload both files, document and the signature itself. And after that, you upload the file, they are sending to the server, and right away they will be verified. And we could see in a second a result of the verification. And as you can see here, we got here a lot of information about the procedure, so the integrity of the document. It says that it hasn't been modified since their electronic authentication. We got here the signatory, the type of the signature. So here we got a qualified electronic signature, and the time stamp of the signature. If we browse a little bit more, we could also see the verification ID, and we could download the confirmation of this process of verification. So it would be very helpful if you would like to share this with some other entity. We could check a lot more data about the signature, about the certificate of the signature, about the institution who issued the signature. So you could browse here a lot of information, including the validity time of this particular certificate for signing the documents. Let's have a look to another example. This time, we have a document signed by trusted electronic signature. This is something special for a Polish government in a form of PADES signature. So it's embedded in the PDF file. Right now, to verification, we're gonna use Acrobat Reader or previously used online toolkit verifysignature.eu. All right, so right now I would like to show you how to use the Adobe Acrobat Reader tool to verify your PADES signatures, which are embedded in your PDF file. So you just basically open the PDF file, and here in the right corner, you could see the widget of the signature. And this is basically a stamp. So we could click on it, and then a window pops up. And it informs us that the signature is valid and that is signed by the appropriate entity. And we could browse more properties of the signature, and we got much more information here. So the data of the signature, the source. We know who is responsible for the issuing the signature. We got here signee, so the name of the signee, the personal number of the person, which is wiped out in this video. And we could also browse the certificate of the signee. So we could browse the details of the certificate itself. So we got here the entity, which is responsible for issuing this certificate, the validity time, and much more details that we could browse here in this window. The most important part here is the verify signature option that informs us that everything with the signature is okay, that the integrity of the document stays valid, and that's the most important part. So as you can see, we could easily use this toolkit on your workstation to verify PDF sign files. Let me switch to another subject. So let's talk a little bit about three types of credentials that we use every day and so-called two-factor authentication. So there are three main types of credentials we use. So there is a knowledge, so kind of passwords, pins, some answers for secret questions. The second one is possession. So you may think about the hardware keys, about some tokens, SIM cards. And the third one, very interesting, is inherence. It is a biometric. It means your traits like face features, iris pattern, hand signature, or keystroke dynamics. And using combination of two of those is two-factor authentication concept. It is very important for increasing the security of authentication procedures or authorization procedures, and you definitely should use it in your cybersecurity adventure. Let me give you some examples of usage of this two-factor authentication. So when you log into your email account, the first thing you do is type your login and password credential. And after that, you may be asked for second authentication factor as SMS code or a push notification on your smartphone. The another example is when you log into your bank account to web platform. The same as in previously example, first you're gonna type your login and password credentials, and then you will be asked also for an SMS code or authorization code for your smartphone. You could be also asked, if you got a hardware token, to input the challenge from the bank to the token and get the response, and that response would be the code for the authentication process. The third example refers to the biometrics. You probably have already experienced Touch ID or Face ID solution on your smartphone. So it is really great when you could use your face trait or fingerprint as your authentication factor instead of typing a PIN or password. I would like to focus right now on this biometric area, and I would like to tell you more about my activities in this regard. So recently, I work on the new generation of payment terminals, so POS devices, that use iris biometry in order to identify the customers. And I will show you how it works. But the most important part here is the iris biometric itself. I would like to tell you a little bit more about it, because the iris biometrics is very discriminative, which makes it perfect for identifying people. Because a chance of mistake, so the false identification, is extremely low. We could think about it, it depends on the settings, but about 1 to millions or even billions. But it is always like this, that there is a trade-off between the security and usability. So the more security you want, the less usability you get. That's the way you have to find the sweet spot. Iris is a very complex muscle and is particularly not dependent on the DNA code. And that's the reason even twins got completely different patterns of irises. And even left eye iris is different from the right eye's iris. The whole process of reading and processing the iris starts with positioning the camera into the region of the eyes. The distance should be about 30-40 centimeters, what makes it pretty comfortable to the user, but still require some cooperation to align the focus. We also need some infrared light to enlighten the eyes area, and then we capture the picture. Later, the iris is separated from the picture and encoded to the special descriptor called iris code, which is encrypted and stored or compared in a database. And the initial picture is wiped out immediately after that, which makes the processing of the data as quick as possible, and we try to minimize it in raw format. Right now, I would like to present you PI Terminal, the first generation of our solution, and show you how it works in merchant operating conditions. And here we go. This is our payment terminal. First, we have to input a payment amount. So I'm gonna type it. Confirm. Right now, I have to put my eyes into these circles. And here you go. The payment is processed. I was identified, and the payment is accepted. And that's all. That's the user experience, that's the speed, and that's how our payment terminals works. Highly recommend it. I hope you find something interesting and inspiring in our short meeting, and I encourage you to cooperation. Take care.